Seth Daniels, welcome to Jits and Giggles.
You're already giggling.
Thanks for joining us.
Glad I could be that clown for you.
So, okay, I was going to start. Obviously, we're here for Fight to Win. You are the owner. What's that noise?
A lot of noises are going to be happening.
Yeah, you're going to hear, guys, the background. We actually have Fight to Win is going on tonight in a couple hours, right? In an hour. So, Thank you for taking the time. I know you're probably, very busy.
No, it's pretty easy.
So, let's start with that. How the heck did you get into running an entire promotion? How did that all come about?
Well, I've been doing it for 17 years.
Yeah.
So I started Fight to Win in 2008. I was laid up in the hospital after a bad MMA fight. I got my face broken pretty much.
Jeez.
And I don't know, just realized how bad I sucked at fighting, but I really liked the culture. And at the time, jiu-jitsu in Colorado was, it was growing. It was, but the tournament scene was really bad. It was you did compete at karate tournaments and the jiu-jitsu division, and there'd be 10 people in the whole event.
Right.
It was one of those,
right.
you know? And so I started a tournament company, and, we did a couple of tournaments the first year, built up some money, and then started doing MMA shows. We did MMA shows and jiu-jitsu tournaments, and then we started throwing concerts alongside the top of MMA shows. And then in 2015, I really just got really burned out and wanted to do something different. And so I decided to I came up with the idea. I was watching Pitch Perfect 2. And
That'll do it.
Yeah, I love Pitch Perfect. They're
It is
so
really good.
And so, sorry, they're going to be doing
It's
music
okay.
checks all night, so it's going to be up and down volume-wise.
That's okay.
Sorry, and a lot of emo stuff.
We'll have to
'cause that's
just
kinda
raise
my
your
thing.
volume at some
Yeah.
points.
Anyway, so I was watching Pitch Perfect 2, and there's a scene where they're competing at the World Championships of acapella. And they just had a video wall screen behind them, and I was watching it, and my wife was I was really burned out. I get really negative when I get burned out. I get to a point where I always say, if I'm ever doing something and the only cause of it is to make money, then I'm done.
Yeah,
Right?
of course.
And that's kind of where I was with MMA. I got screwed over by this one fighter really bad, and it just kind of really, I didn't want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
But I'd already spent $250,000 on trucks, trailers, production equipment, staging, and all that. So I had to do something with it.
Yeah.
And at the time, the only stuff I was really into was I was really into doing production, and I was into jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
So I just put one
Both
plus
of them
one
together.
and, did one, and it started, and then, 2, 3, 4, and now 279.
So you got into production. You said, did you self-teach yourself all of that, or did you go to school for it? How do you know the ins and outs?
I can't go to school for anything. I'm really stupid. It's I'm really good at 4 things in life. I'm a pretty decent dad. I work really hard. I used to be a good athlete, and I'm really good with my cats. And that's basically the entirety of what I'm good at.
Yeah.
And no, I mean, Gary, that's working for me today, or working with me, he started producing my events in 2008, and we started just working together. And then I'm not actually the one, everyone thinks because I was production manager for ADCC, I don't actually know anything. I just know what looks cool and what doesn't look cool, and then I hire the right people.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
You're a good delegator.
I wouldn't say I'm good at delegating. I'm good at hiring the right people.
Okay.
But I go through a lot of bad ones to get to the good ones sometimes, And so I've had Evan with me for 13 years. Gary and Natalie have been with me since 2008. And, we just kind of learn as you go.
Yeah, okay. So it was trial and error a little bit.
A lot of trial and error.
Yeah, and you must have, like you said, you must have liked it enough that you just continued on. Some people would throw in the towel.
No, I
It's
mean,
hard.
when you go to concerts, or, I'm just one of those people, when I go to a show, I a lot of my memories of going to concerts, I'm a concert kid, that's what I do, you know? So I have a lot of great memories in my life of going to shows, and I remember the production. I remember seeing 21 Pilots at Red Rocks, and just the way that they had lit up the rocks on the side, and the way they were using the haze and the lasers. And then we went to Rammstein, and I've been to Tool a bunch of times, and I've probably been to like 1,000 concerts.
Yeah.
And the production's just always been like one of my favorite parts of it. And I really wanted to produce concerts, and I started doing it, and I failed miserably. It's really hard. It's a really hard business. That's 100 times harder than this or MMA, the concert world. And so, so, I was into it and had money at the time, and so bought all the equipment and just started going with it.
So you feel like you're more of like the creative side of things?
Well, I mean, it's kind of hard to say like what I am now versus like what it was 10 years ago when it started, I mean, like, I would say like in the beginning, this sound weird saying this about yourself, but like I was kind of a visionary. I saw a hole in the market. I saw what Metamoris was doing, and I obviously, like, within 30 seconds of watching that event, I was like, oh, this isn't going to survive. Like, the setup, the whole thing was a great idea, but it was bad execution.
Okay.
And so when I was done with MMA, I was just like, oh, I'm just going to use the same model I did for MMA and do it for jiu-jitsu. And I had only planned on doing shows in Denver. I never really planned on traveling because I was still promoting MMA shows at the time, which takes a lot of your energy and time. And then, the first show, we didn't even know if people would come. The thought process was kind of like, anytime you go to a tournament, there's, fucking 12 mats on the floor, 1,000 people competing, everyone's standing everywhere, you can't see shit, it's $20 to get in. Like, it's a shitty experience. And jiu-jitsu's boring to watch, right?
If you're not into it.
So, I just kind of put together, like, well, what if we take out the parts of jiu-jitsu that make it boring? Well, what are the parts of jiu-jitsu that make it boring? Well, sometimes the rules make it boring because they limit the amount of techniques you can do.
Right.
So let's take out all the rules and let people do whatever they want, and then add some flair to it, add some alcohol, and try to make it fun and make it an experience versus just going to an event. So the first one was really scary because it didn't cost that much. It only cost like $15,000 to put on the first one, but it was still like kind of scary because I was going in uncharted waters. And then the first one hit, and then the second one hit, and then 1 through 140 all hit pretty fucking hard.
Yeah.
We were doing really well before COVID happened. And then, that kind of changed everything.
Yeah. What was some of the feedback you were getting? Like, you said that you were doing it differently, allowing it to be more exciting. Were you getting feedback about what people liked about your promotion versus other promotions?
There was no other promotions.
Oh, there was no competition.
There was no one else. We were the first one.
Oh, okay.
We were the first super fight company. Essentially, I don't know this 100%, but I think that Fuji or Respect out of Kansas might have hosted something like it, but not with like staging, production, like the whole thing.
Right.
Like, we created the whole super fight model, if you will.
So you were first to hit the market.
But, after seeing what Metamoris did, right? I'm the first one to do it right.
Yeah.
Is the better way of saying
it,
right? So, no, there was no competition. But after our first show, it immediately started popping up. This is something I talked about in the last podcast I did was... Sorry, Bon Jovi's playing, so you have to sing along. We're in Jersey, so it is what it is. You just have to deal with it. We're living on a prayer out here. So, we did the first one, and then by the time I booked the second one, there's already a copycat promotion, and then it was, I don't really have another better name for that. I know it's condescending to call it that, but I just don't know what else to call it.
Yeah.
And then, we started doing them all across the country, and every time we went somewhere, a new, someone that was at the show, what a fighter, a coach or something would pop up. But I still feel like due to our insane work ethic and lack of fear of traveling and going into, like I said before, uncharted territories, gave us a leg up. But I'd say for the first 2 years, we were pretty much the only one in the country.
Okay. And were you working full time while doing this, or you were all?
No, I worked at 24 Fitness when I was a kid. I worked there from the time I was 16 till I was 27, and then I got fired from 24 Hour Fitness around that time, and that's when I started Fight to Win.
Okay.
And then I was doing full-time promoting the MMA shows, the tournaments, and then like stuff on the side. Like I owned a tattoo shop, and then I was doing landscaping and just some other stuff to pay the bills and shit like that.
Oh, okay. What would you say is the most surprising thing about running a promotion that you didn't expect?
Oh man, it's been so long. It's been so long since I started. It's kind of hard to put myself back in my shoes 17 years ago. I've said this a million times before. It's my cynical view of people in the world is that, that people don't care about what you've done for them. They only care about what you can do for them. And so, the relationships with athletes, that was a little bit rougher than I expected it to be over time because everything's just changed so much.
Yeah.
Like when we started, there's, people that are making $100,000 a match right now that were getting paid $1,500 when we started this 10 years ago. So it's like everything is different than it used to be. I think the biggest surprise, though, is the cost of operating is so much higher than what people assume.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. So it's like, just to break it down, like to do it right? So like insurance, for instance. To carry insurance for the athletes and to carry a $2 million policy, you're looking at $30,000 a year.
Right.
Your truck insurance for truck and trailer is about $30,000 a year as well. Like a couple of months ago, we had an issue. Our truck and trailer got destroyed by some bad roads in Phoenix, and it costs like $40,000 to fix that. Plus, we had to rent a semi truck for 8 months, so that was another $100,000. So it's like the unexpected cost is the most unexpected thing.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
It sucks too because it's like when people think and they go to a show and there's 500 people there and they do promoter math and they're like, oh, they made 25 grand. Well, the event costs 36, so it's like everything's not face value of what it looks like. There's a lot of smoke and mirrors, especially not so much with us because we've been doing it for so long, but a lot of the other promotions you see, you're like, oh, these guys are doing great and this and that. And no, man, they're hemorrhaging money.
Right.
Hemorrhaging money.
Yeah, there's
it just kind of depends on what their goal is, on what they want to do. Someone like the UFC or Flow Grappling that has a large subscription service, they can go out there and host an event that loses $150,000, $200,000, and it really doesn't do anything to them.
Yeah.
But someone like me that doesn't have investors, that doesn't have a lot of sponsors, it's unexpected costs are a pretty big kick in the tank.
Since you've been in it for so long, have you made any changes to mitigate those costs?
Well, you have to go with what when we first started, like through Fight to Win 1 through Fight to Win 138, every athlete had a chance to get paid on their fight, plus their ticket commissions, plus we were bringing in the top of the top athletes.
Yeah.
I'd say my budget, my salary per show was around $30,000 to $40,000 of what I was paying out, you know. But after COVID, we did 15, 20 shows during COVID, plus the fucking 10 we had canceled by the states, and all those pretty much ate up all the reserve funding that we had. So when we were able to get back on the road after COVID, we weren't able to guarantee match purses anymore, and we weren't able that's the main thing, and that's why a lot of the fighters moved on and went to other promotions, as they should. So now we're back to focusing on kind of like how we did in the beginning, where it's just like, okay, well, we're doing smaller shows, we're averaging probably like 300 people per show. Before COVID, it was probably closer to like 800.
Right.
So we had to sell half of our stuff and cut our staff in half, and it's not anything special or anything different than what every other business had to do in the world.
Right. No, that makes sense.
Look at fucking Hooters just filed bankruptcy. The company I grew up working for had 480 locations, and now they have, fucking 120. It's just, we just have to adapt to the environment
you have to be
of how
to adapt.
It is.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. So now, at what point did you start working for ADCC?
I started working for ADCC in 2019.
Okay.
So I was watching Worlds. Right after Fight to Win 48 in Tulsa, I was watching World. We stayed up to like 4 a.m. just to watch Tom DeBlas compete. And that's our dude, right?
Yeah.
He's always been like one of the best friends of like my whole staff. We love that guy. And so we stayed up to watch his first match, and I believe he fought this black belt out of Habero. Oregon. I can't remember his name, Casey Hellinger. And so he fought Casey, and I remember like watching the tournament, and there was these crazy matches going on. Like I couldn't believe, like, I mean, honestly, I'd never watched ADCC before.
Yeah.
Because I don't watch jiu-jitsu. Like I watch like team sports. I watch basketball, football, baseball, and my work is jiu-jitsu. So like, you know, I'm just not, separate. I got 3 kids, and I don't spend my time watching it, right? So I'm watching it, and I'm like, man, the level of competition of this event is awesome, but like my event I just did in Tulsa, Oklahoma, looks 10 times better than this. And so I just like messaged Mo because I knew he was going to do 2019, and we'd kind of worked together here and there on some stuff with Gordon Ryan and Dylan Dennis and Lucas Barbosa, like at Fight to Win 30. And so we were friendly, and so I just kind of told him like, yo, man, like this event looks like trash. Like it's cute. Like it looks like a high school tournament. Like bring me on and I'll make it legit. And so I flew out to West Coast Trials, which was at Muscle Farm, which was like the absolute worst event experience anybody probably has ever had in history of competing.
What was so bad about it?
It wasn't an event center. It was like a building that had pillars everywhere, and there were like sections of mat like everywhere in order to make it work. It was awful. There was no viewing, there was no seating. And Mo comes up to me and he's like, well, you know, if I give you $50,000, what could you get me 3 video screens and taiko drummers? And I was like, bro, if you give me $50,000, like I'll give you everything you asked for, plus I'll do the lighting, plus I'll do the sound, plus I'll do this, plus I'll do that. Because it was like he was way overpaying for stuff. And then like I was basically just running the production for him. And then, you know, he hosted the West Coast Trials in 2017. I think he lost like $200,000 hosting the trials, which is absolutely absurd if you think about like how much money the company makes now with their trials, right? I think there was only like a couple hundred people competed, and he had like this crazy super fight card. And so Mo at the time really didn't understand like the business part of how to run this, because Mo doesn't really care. Yeah. You know, he's jiu-jitsu's biggest fan, and he doesn't care if he spends $250,000 if it comes all out of his pocket, and you know he's good. He doesn't care. But I looked at the way he was spending money and the event, and kind of took over the P&L and took over like the financial part of it to make it to where it could continue, because no event that loses money like that is going to just keep going.
Sustainable,
I mean, ADCC has, but I just saw a much brighter vision for it. And so we became partners, and then we were partners all the way up until, you know, this past Worlds, until he retired.
Yeah. So what were some of the biggest changes you made between 2019 and until you left ADCC?
Well, I mean, in 2017, there was 3 mats on the floor of a gymnasium versus going to the T-Mobile Arena.
Yeah. So I mean, you were a part of that? That was before you left, right?
Yeah. This last one was my last Worlds.
Yeah. So a lot of people, as you already know, they had a lot of comments on, you know, where you could have saved money by having a smaller arena. Why do you think it was worth having it in the T-Mobile Arena versus
everybody wants to say that now, but when we booked the arena, everybody was pretty fucking excited about it.
Right.
You know, Thomas and Mack is just a shitty arena. You know, I mean, the seating is bad. The seats are uncomfortable. The in-house production is pretty bad, like the level of equipment that they have and everything. And at the end of ADCC 2022, the biggest complaints were we needed more women's divisions and we needed to get the women's pay up. And so that was our focus. And there were a lot of complaints about Thomas and Mack, about the arena. So, you know, it was one of the things where it's like, okay, well, you can't, if you're not doing something to get better each time, like we have to keep improving. We couldn't go back in Vegas and just do the same place. Right. And so it's like, well, there's only one place that you could really go to in Vegas. And I mean, why doesn't the UFC do events at shitty arenas? You know, the UFC does events at Thomas and Mack. Why does Tool play at Thomas and Mack? Why does Taylor Swift play at T-Mobile? Because it's the best arena. Right. And we wanted the best arena for the best experience for the fans, and that's what it was. Yeah.
So looking back, do you still think financially it was the best decision as well?
It's not my call to make. That was Mo's call to make. But I still think that venue-wise, yeah, it was the right venue
Yeah.
to go from, because you have to keep improving. You can't. I couldn't do much more than I did in 2022 with production. I crushed it with the lasers, the pyro, the lighting, the video. We did a great job, and so it was like, there's really not much more I could have done.
Right.
And so getting a better venue with better food options and all that, it was all about customer experience.
Yeah.
And to fight in the most famous fighting arena in America. I mean, people want to say Madison Square Garden, but I mean, y'all are from out here. That place is a dump. It is. That place sucks, dude, compared to T-Mobile Arena. Or look at Intuit. Like, Intuit now, I think, is probably the nicest arena in America, the one in LA. You know, and, you know, we just wanted to do the best that we possibly could for the fighters and the fans.
Yeah. So, well, speaking of what's best for the fighters, so one of the complaints that I've seen or heard is their thought process was, if you saved money on the arena, that excess funding could have went to the fighters. Is that?
That's not how it really works.
Okay. Why
so? I mean, ADCC has a set specific amount of money that they give to the promoter who's running world championships to pay the fighters.
Gotcha.
Okay. Anything else on top of that comes out of the promoter's pocket.
Oh, okay.
It's very hard to get the finances changed from ADCC, because it's not just like, no, you don't own it. The promoter doesn't own it. You're just promoting that event.
Right.
So if you go out there and give away X amount of money, then what's the precedent for the next promoter? Because it's only supposed to be one promoter each time.
Right.
Like, you're only supposed to get one go at it. Mo got 3 goes because he did such a good job. But you're only supposed to get one go at it. And so they've kept it standardized forever, you know? And could it be more? Yeah. Should it be more? Probably. But that wasn't really our call. But, I mean, in the end, we wind up giving away all of our profit anyway. So, I mean, we didn't make any money on the event.
So you're saying, like, whether you had it at that arena or a less costly arena, it wasn't going to impact the fighters? It wouldn't have
impacted the finances. I mean, the increase of venue increased the cost of ticket sales, which pretty much just balanced it out.
Okay.
You know, I mean, yeah, we could have done it at T-Mobile, but we couldn't have raised the prices anymore, so we would have brought in the same amount of money, and we would have still paid the fighters the same amount of money.
Okay.
But in the end, at Worlds, every dollar of profit that was brought in 2024 and 2022 and 2019 was given to the athletes. People seem to think that Mo made all of his money promoting ADCC or fucking retarded. Like, that's not how it worked. Like, the guy is a very successful business person, and out of his own pocket donated millions of dollars to athletes and to jiu-jitsu. And I mean, even though I don't work with the guy anymore, like, I have a ton of respect for him and everything that he's done, you know, and that's kind of one of the things of why I say that no one cares what you've done for them and only what you do for them, because there are a lot of people that he's done a lot of shit for, and you know, just no one cares.
Yeah, which can we?
It's just how it is.
Can we talk about that a little bit? Why you're no longer working with ADCC?
I mean, with Mo retiring and doing, not doing Worlds, there's really not a place for me, and they don't need me with the tournament. Sean does an excellent job. Caitlin does an excellent job. Mo does an excellent job, and I acted like a fucking idiot last year. You know, I mean, with threatening Craig and the way I was acting towards the other ADCC staff, like, the whole situation was just, it was so hard to deal with.
Yeah.
And it was kind of unprecedented. And I didn't really, you know, we went from, like, in, you know, March or February looking like, holy shit, we're going to have, because we sold 13,000 tickets or whatever. That's not how many people showed up, but we sold 12,800 tickets, I think. And so we sold all these tickets in Black Friday, and then we start, you know, increasing the women's purses, increasing the divisions, adding the women's absolute. Everybody's confirming the Rotolo. Everybody's in except Craig, you know? And then he did what he did and then took all the fighters. And, you know, I've said this before, but it was like the thing that hurt the most was, like, a lot of the people that left. We were really, you know, I can say we, but I don't want to speak for Mo at all. This is just my opinions on everything. I was really close with a lot of those guys, and I gave them their first start. I wrote their first checks for them. So when they just bailed out and then would like kind of make mockery of the posts and shit, it was really painful. And I don't think mentally I was like really ready to deal with that at the time. And I just kind of snapped.
Yeah.
And with the stuff that was going on online, with all the trolling and the Discords and the Reddit groups and all that, it just got to me because like at first I was playing it pretty well. I was just like, oh, whatever, fuck it, we'll just move on. And then I just got to a breaking point, and he got to me. I mean, he won. You know, I mean, that was Craig's intention, was to get under my skin and get under her skin, which he's the best at. I mean,
Yeah, he is good at it.
The guy's the king of the fucking internet, and I knew it. I knew going into it.
Yeah.
And it was like after a show, and I was pretty high, and like just like some shit had happened that day with some posts and stuff, and I just went off, and I just pissed off and wrote him the message, and then we had like a 6-hour conversation, which of course nobody else saw any of that about, but you know, I was totally out of my mind to do that, and I was wrong. But it also made not just me look bad, but it made Mo look bad, it made ADCC look bad, and it, you know, so when it came time to it in the end, it was definitely time for me to go and sit out for a while and think about life and the things I've done and the things I've said and how I portrayed myself and how I've carried myself, and had to make some pretty serious changes, you know, and like I said, I have nothing bad to say about any of those people. They're like, people want to talk so much shit as they want about Mo or any of the people at ADCC. Like, I love all of them. I loved working with every single one of them. If they ever wanted me back, which I'm sure they won't because they don't need me, but if they did, I would fucking go back in a heartbeat. Yeah. Just because I believe in what they're doing and I believe in what we did, and I really think they're just great people.
That's awesome. And you had mentioned before we started that, you know, some of the conversation between you and Craig was a little bit joking and also a little bit serious.
Well, no, I mean, anytime that you're talking with Craig, you don't really know what
you're getting,
what's real and what's not real.
Right.
But I mean, over time, like he even told me like a couple days ago, I messaged him and I was just like, hey man, I said some stuff about your event on this podcast. Like I wasn't talking shit. I was giving him props, you know, for what he did and all the money he gave away and all that kind of stuff. I was like, but I just don't, like, please, if this gets turned into some type of meme or Reddit, please just watch it. Yeah. Just to know that I was not. And he told me like everything's water under the bridge. Like we're cool. Like we'll never be friends or anything. Like, you know what I mean? Like cordial at this point. But you know, I mean, like he's doing his thing. I'm doing my thing. And you know what? He's got some great investor that wants to keep throwing money and doing these huge events. It's great for everybody. I just hope he can keep doing it.
Yeah. Just to go back for a second, when that message that he posted got released, were you reaching out to him or was he reaching out to you? How did that conversation even start?
Oh no, we'd been kind of trolling each other back and forth, like talking shit for like a couple of weeks.
Okay, so it
was all me.
Okay.
It was all. He didn't do anything to deserve that, other than what he did. You know, the act of what he did. But no, I was just
heated,
fucked up and pissed off and out of my mind, and it wasn't being serious or anything. Like the only thing I kill is like a fucking box of donuts and a fucking pack of monsters. Like, dude, I can't even fight. Donuts, like I can't even throw a punch. Like my hands are all busted up. Like I was just like, I don't know. It's just, I mean, like I was just out of my mind. It happens.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
But I've apologized a million times for it, and I apologized to him directly. Yep. Literally that night. Good. Like we'd pretty much squashed the shit that night. But you can't give someone that's a sharpshooter a rifle and a bullet and expect them not to use it.
Of course.
So I mean, he did. You know, it worked out great for him.
Yeah.
You know? Cost me my job and all my finances, but you know, it was a good learning experience for me. It's definitely helping me not care about so much negative shit so much and kind of let stuff go a little bit easier than I used to.
Yeah,
you know? But there's just a lot of passion, there's a lot of drive, and I think, you know, like people don't see that, you know, they think shit's just about money or it's about this or it's about that, but it's like I care a lot about what I do and I, you know, have a lot of pride in it.
Of course.
You know, and it is what it is, man.
Yeah. So now are you only doing Fight to Win right now? Or are you working with any other, nothing else?
I do this project called Code 3. It's a first responder show. Oh, that's cool. And we do a couple a year. It's Battle of the Badges. We do it's like EMS, fire, police, and military. Mm-hmm. But other than that, just Fight to Win. I'm not a very good partner. I mean, I'm not. I know I am. Like I ran all the subversives, the first 9. I ran the first 3 Who's Number Ones. You know, I worked for ADCC for 5 years, but I mean, when it comes down to it, I have opinions on how things should be and how they should be run. And I feel like after hosting 500 events and basically creating the industry, I my opinions and the things that I believe to be right should be done. And if they're not, like, I don't do well with, like, I'm kind of like a child. Like, if I'm like dead set on something being the way it is, it's really hard to get me to change my opinion.
Yeah.
And I can't do stuff that I don't believe in.
Right.
So, you know, like some promotions that I've worked with, they just do cringy shit, and it just like makes my skin crawl, and I'm just like, and it's just like there's nothing wrong with it. It's
just
their
not for
shit.
you. Yeah.
Like,
it's just not for you.
It's just not for me. I don't like the cringy shit. Like, I'm cringy enough. I don't need fucking ring girls and fucking dancers and like the women at my show. Like, I want them fighting. I don't want them walking around in fucking bikinis.
Yeah.
Like, I get it, but that was MMA. That was a whole different world. I got 5-year-old kids at these events. Like, I don't need to see that shit.
Yeah. And before, I imagine you were spreading yourself pretty thin, doing Fight to Win, doing ADCC. Do you feel happier now that you can put all your time and focus
I'd be happier if I had money in my bank account, but you know, I mean, being broke is rough. It's hard to keep this going every week. You know, I mean, like, this show is probably going to lose like 10 grand. Last week we did pretty good, but it's a roller coaster, you know, like promoting's a roller coaster. And that's some of the stuff that people don't understand. Like, you got to be able to ride the wave. Yeah. Especially, we're doing 4 shows a month. Like, we do more shows in a month than I believe pretty much anyone else does in a year. Yeah. 50 matches a night, different place in the country, different venue issues, different something. Every week is something different. So I wouldn't say that I'm spread too thin just because of life itself, because I have 3 kids and I have a family. Yeah. So it's like, you know, I get home, I'll finish the show tonight at like 11:30. We'll get done tearing down at 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, go to bed, wake up at, you know, 8 a.m., go to Newark, or go to LaGuardia, get on a flight, get home, exhausted, disgusting, tired. You take a shower. That's cat day. You know, that's the day where you sleep on the couch downstairs with the cats, and then, like, you get the fuck back up. And that's why I'm always so far behind. And it's like, there's just, I have to choose. Do I want to be behind and limp along, or do I want to just sit back and do 1 show a month and try to hit 12 home runs? Yeah. I'd rather just try to hit a lot of singles.
Yep. Yeah, a little bit less pressure.
Because if I don't do them every week, if I don't do 40 a year, I'm going to miss a lot of markets. Right. And I got a lot of friends in a lot of markets. Like, I'm no offense to the East Coast. I've loved being out here, but like, we've been out here for 6 months. Like, May is the end of our East Coast tour, and then we start going back west. And I can't wait to see everyone in California. Yeah. It's been so long. We've been in California and Canada and Hawaii and Seattle and all that stuff. So you build good relationships with everyone across the country, you know, as you go. So it's always fun to get to see everywhere. And so I don't know why I feel like so responsible about that. Like, I want to go to like every market, you know what I mean? But like, that's my goal this year, is like, if I can hit 40 shows, I mapped it out. I need 39 to hit every market I want to go to. And we're like definitely pacing that right now. Yeah.
So is majority of the funds is just ticket sales then, right?
All of it.
All of it. Like, what about when you sell alcohol and any of that?
I don't get any
nothing
of that.
from that?
No.
Yeah.
Venues take all the money from that.
So that's a lot of pressure, yeah.
Well, I mean, anybody that can, I mean, you get deals with venues where it's like, okay, I'll pay $5,000 for the venue, but I got to hit $5,000 in food and beverage. And then if you don't hit $5,000 in food and beverage, you have to pay the difference. More. So every venue is different. Like this venue, I believe, was $97.50 was what it costs to rent. Plus you have your power, your internet, plus your rooms. So rough in, you're at like $14,000, and we've only done like $10,000 in sales, maybe. At the end of the night, after you pay out the fighters, you know, you're looking at maybe $6,000 or $7,000. So you take like a $10,000 hit. But last week we made about. So it's like, it's literally just like all the time.
You're never stopping. Yeah.
It's always a wave. As long as you have enough money to pay everything for that event and enough money to do one more, then you're still up to bat. And that's all that really matters. You're still swinging.
That is a lot.
And in the end, that's all you got to try to do. Well, I don't care. I don't care about money. I don't care about like, I'm literally wearing clothes I got at fucking Walmart right now. Yeah. Like, I don't care.
You can't. Yeah, I feel like you can't.
You know, I don't even have a car. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I got 2 kids about to be in college, and all I'm trying to do is keep doing this. Yeah. You know?
Have you ever been given any really good advice from anyone throughout the years of doing this?
I mean, Tom DeBlas gives me good advice all the time about everything, and, you know, regarding life. My friend Mike Nichols gives me a lot of advice. One of the best advice Mike gave me, and he's the one I got the company name from, is he said to me, because I was thinking about shutting all this down in October because I was just so burned out after ADCC and the community and everything, you know? And he said to me, like, well, are you making any money? And I was like, no, I'm fucking losing hundreds of $1,000s a year. And he's like, well, if you were making money, do you think that you would have fun at your job again? And I was like, well, if I was making money, it would mean that the crowds were coming back and I was getting better fighters and I was managing everything better and all that kind of stuff. And he was like, all right, we'll start doing all the stuff that it takes to get the crowds back. And so I wrote down like 15 things that I did in the beginning of Fight to Win that a lot of things like I let slip, like having a photographer.
Right.
Like, it's such an important thing to have at an event, but when you lose all your money, you're like, all right, well, is it necessary? So I cut that, cut this, cut that, cut that. And so I just like started slowly adding stuff back in, started bringing back some of my employees I couldn't afford.
Yeah.
And things are definitely getting better for sure.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's good advice. How about Tom DeBlass? Anything that sticks out that he's
Tom
told you?
DeBlass, I mean, he gives me a lot of like life advice more than like business advice. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But no, I mean, that's going to be a fuzzy bunny for me.
Okay.
Which is when I'm not going to talk about something we've decided is going to be a
That's
fuzzy
fair.
bunny.
That's
Because there's
fair.
a lot of personal stuff.
Okay.
Like about
Yeah.
overcoming my own personal demons and shit
That makes
like
sense.
that.
But it's
kinda
good
like
you
a
have
mentor
people
for
like
me.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not a lot, but a few.
Yeah. So I know we're short on time. So any hot takes? Do you know what that is? A hot take? So basically just an unpopular opinion you have
All my
about the
opinions
community.
are unpopular.
Well, specific to the jiu-jitsu community.
I mean, my cynical view of everybody is probably the most unpopular one. It's just that nobody cares what you've done for them. They only care what you can do for them. I mean, I could say that a billion times over and over again because I believe it like within every fiber of my being. But other than that, I mean, like in regards to events or...
Anything
okay,
jiu-jitsu related.
here's some stuff I don't like. I don't like when people make an instructional video showing someone else's move.
Ooh, that's a good one.
I don't like that. I think that if Gordon Ryan wants to show Gordon Ryan's move, then Gordon Ryan should show his move. It shouldn't be some black belt out of,
a random
Maine
gym. Yeah.
showing, no offense to anyone in Maine. I just randomly picked a state, I swear to God. And just showing, like, breaking down stuff. I just feel like breakdown should be done by the people that did them.
Gotcha.
That I don't like that.
Even when they're giving credit to the person?
They're not, though. They're using their video in order to create content and get subscribers and followers for themselves. I just don't like it.
Yeah, no, that's fair. What else?
I don't think that
He has so many, he doesn't know what to choose.
there's so many of them.
We've had some interesting ones on here, honestly.
I mean, I think that you guys aren't going to like this, but I think that the I don't know about the crying about equality and pay for women and opportunities is valid anymore. I think that's a dead conversation because I think that for the amount of women that are out there competing in jiu-jitsu, I do believe they're getting a fair share of what's going on.
So be specific, what do you mean?
Like Fiona, like what she posted like a couple days ago about how like if your promotion's not using women, then it's disrespectful or whatever. Like I can't imagine there's any promotion that doesn't want female fights. There's just such a smaller pool.
Right.
Of talent. I'm not of talent, of people. Like
of people, yeah, in the
there
sport.
just
I mean, we
is.
can all agree it's a male-dominated sport.
Well, if you look
right?
at ADCC trials, each division of the men's division, except for 99 plus, has 256 competitors. I believe the biggest women's division was 63.
Right.
That alone tells you there's probably, I'd say there's 10% of the population that competes and does women. But I also do believe in fair pay.
Yeah.
I've always done that. Like
Yeah.
Gabby Garcia for the longest time was my highest paid person.
Right.
I never looked at someone to see if they have a penis, they should be getting paid more than the girl should.
Right.
I feel I might be wrong though because I don't see it on the top end of things now. But it seems to be the people that are paying them out the most amount of money right now, like Flow Grappling, UFC Fight Pass, Craig Jones. They seem to incorporate women pretty good into their events.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I
mean,
just think
yeah.
that conversation is tired.
Yeah, I think
But
that
I'm not a
should-
woman, and I don't know how it feels. I'm just saying from a promoter end of it, it seems to me like they're getting a pretty fair opportunity at this point.
At this point, I
Yeah.
think we're starting to turn a new leaf. I agree with you in the sense that it should go by the person, not
Yeah.
the gender. Like Fionn versus a no-name guy, she should get paid more, right?
Fionn versus Adele Fenorio, I don't know if that's how you say it.
For Norino, yeah.
They should be getting fucking paid
Yes.
for that match.
Yeah.
Helena Cravar against Sarah Gaval, whoever books that, Nogi, those girls should be getting fucking paid fat.
Yeah.
I 100% agree with what you're saying.
Yeah.
Is that it should be completely based on the person and not the
and
gender.
the eyes they're bringing.
I just feel like it is now.
Yeah, yeah.
But I might, like I said, I might be wrong because I'm not a girl. I don't know how it goes. I've always treated women the exact same as men when it comes to pay and everything. I know I don't pay fighters now, but I did pay over $8 million over the first 5 years. So I do have a sense of who gets paid what and where it
I
comes
feel
from.
like, and I don't know either, but I feel like, to your point, the super fights seem to be paid correctly. It seems more like when it's things like, not anymore maybe, but with ADCC where it's like divisions.
Well,
you know,
okay,
how do you look at
it that way, right? So Mo added a third division, right? Added about $60,000 to the bottom line for that division, plus did the absolute, which added another $60,000. So he added, plus the travel, probably close to $150,000 just for the last event. No one gave a shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but my thing is, like, you could say, well, there's more men competing, men bring more eyes, but then say
it has nothing to do with that.
So then why were the women not being paid equal from the beginning?
That was something that, like, starting in 2019, we worked on.
Yeah.
5 years ago, we were pitching that, trying to get them to approve it. And that was not like something that just came out of the blue in 2024.
Yeah.
Like that, Craig paid Gabby 180 grand. Like Mo was working on that for 5 fucking years. Mm-hmm. There was even a point where he told them if they didn't do it, that he was going to quit. And then we just said, fuck it, we'll pay it ourselves.
That's why it happened at that time?
It happened before, too.
Okay.
There's all kinds of, you guys, people have no idea.
Oh, I believe that's
how much money that Mo and I have paid out of our pockets.
Was it the pressure of CJI that caused them to pay?
There was no pressure in 2022 when we gave away all the profit of that show too. Yeah. There was no pressure at that one. And at the time, that event paid out over $400,000. And at the time, before Craig, that was the biggest event of all time. Mm-hmm. And this last one was a lot. Mm-hmm. A lot more than that.
But the women were matched in 2024, right? Or was it before then?
I don't know if it was 2022 or 2019 too as well. But I know for sure it was 2024.
Right. And in 2024, which we'll just say to our best knowledge, you're saying it had nothing to do with CGI. They were already planning on matching it. Mo was already like trying to fight
I don't know. I was kept out of the financial part of the fighters on that one because it was so much. And me and Mo kind of had a lot of back and forth about that, about how much giving away all of the money we made, and so I don't really know what everybody was paying. I know the total amount, which I can't disclose, but I'm pretty positive everybody was paid equally, but I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, I think.
But the reason that the divisions are smaller, just so so let's talk about that. Yeah. Do you honestly believe that there's 16 women in each division that can win, and under 60? Over in under 55, under 65, and over 65, are there 16 women that could win that division?
That can win the division?
Yeah.
I don't know.
There's not.
So you're saying there's not the same amount of talent? Is that
there's
what you're saying?
There's not the same amount of talent because there's not as many people.
Okay. What do you think, Yoram?
There's not. You could do more divisions, and you could have more 8-person divisions and maybe get more results. But once you get to that 9, 10, 11 seed, they have no chance.
So you're saying there's plenty of women, but at that level, there's not enough. At that level. I see what you're saying.
There's not enough talent, especially in the heavyweight women. There's not enough talent to warrant a 16-person division. If there was, he would have done it. Guarantee you he would have done it.
I mean, that's interesting because, we have a friend who's a female who's in the highest weight, and they couldn't even get her in this year because it was so maxed out. Amanda Levy. They couldn't.
Amanda Levy wasn't.
She had to drop down a weight because
she chose to drop down a weight. She was in. No, she did. I was part of that.
She told us that it was filled.
No, it was filled at the time, and she was the first reserve.
Well, that makes sense because she was already cutting, so maybe by the time it was offered to her.
Yeah, she was the first. She was the first reserve.
Yeah. I guess I guess that's what I mean is like
she wanted to, because the spots opened up when Fionn and Mackenzie left, then somebody, I don't remember who, went down to under 55, which created the spot at 65.
Yeah.
And Amanda had the choice of being the number one alternate at plus 65 or that. You're right. Amanda's a great example. Amanda would have been 9 or 10. What about 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. I'm sure she
We
started
need
cutting
more
very
women
early.
competing. You get more women competing, especially at the higher level, then you're going to see those divisions fill up.
And it's like
But
this
it's not there right
never-ending
now.
snake biting its tail. It's like you need more women competing. More women want to compete if they're getting paid, and it just keeps going. And, right?
What's wrong with that, though?
But I'm saying, who makes the first move, right? Because nobody wants to compete at the high level if they're not getting paid. Nobody wants to pay at the high level if they're not at that level. You see what I'm saying? Like,
Well, I mean, I think it's going to happen over time. I think you're going to see in maybe 8 years, 4 years, 6 years, a lot of the kids.
yeah, that's
Like,
true,
look
yeah.
at the Helena Cravars, the Sarah Galvals of the world. They're coming, dude. Just
That's
like
true.
the teenage boys.
Yeah.
Like all the kids from Alpha Miami, all the kids from AOJ, all the kids from Atos, all the kids from Hilly and Gracie. They're all coming. And
Yeah.
when they all get here, then it'll be time.
Yeah, that makes sense.
There'll be a whole new crop, you
Yep.
know? So, yeah, I think it's just a matter of time.
Yeah, I could agree with you there.
And then I think I'd like to see more 8-person divisions at those big tournaments.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter. I don't work for them anymore, so I'm just gonna keep doing my super fights. So it doesn't really matter what I think.
Any other hot takes you could think of off the top of your head?
I mean, I don't. I think it'd be great if instructors would stop fucking their students. Would be a good
I don't know
one.
if that's an unpopular opinion. I
Yeah.
feel like that's pretty popular. Seth.
That should probably stop at some point. You shouldn't probably be dating your teammates or
I have to agree with you
doing
there.
that. I don't think that it's a great use of social media for female athletes to be pushing their OnlyFans onto their team members and stuff like that. I feel like, especially with women competitors, it should matter a lot less about the way they look and it matter a lot more about what they do on the mat.
I know this sounds like a very obvious question, but why do you think coaches need to not be messing around with their students? And I know it seems like an obvious question, but can you talk a little bit about the specific issues with that?
The way I was brought up is that like your teammates or your family,
Yeah.
like you're not gonna fuck your sister, right? So
I mean,
it's like
depends where you're at, Seth.
No, I'm serious. Like
Yeah.
I grew up on a team where it's just not the kind of thing that happened, and the
Yeah.
team I'm with now, it's something that was always like a no-no. Like growing up, even at the Olympic Training Center when I was there, it was like they're your brothers and your sisters. It's weird to me.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, people fall in love and it's great and all that kind of stuff happens, but like, the grooming shit and all that stuff, like there's got to be some type of safer practices to keep predators out of gyms.
Yes.
It's got to happen.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I mean, jiu-jitsu should be a safe place for everybody to go to. It should be a place for fun where it doesn't matter what you do outside the world, and you shouldn't have to worry about your safety inside the gym from some creepy dude and I think a lot of people too, a lot of high level people can get away with being creeps because they're really good athletes, and that's just something that needs to stop. And people, just like I was held accountable for what I did with Craig, I got fired from my job. I fucking lost all my money. I was held accountable, not only by my bosses, but by the entire community.
Yeah.
And I feel like when people fuck up, they need to be held accountable.
And not to mention, not only the person, the woman or man or child, God forbid, who is actually sleeping with the coach, but just the members. It's awkward for everybody. It creates a very uncomfortable environment for every single person in that gym because everyone's aware of it.
Yeah.
So I think it's not
Well,
good
I mean,
all
I've been
around.
part of a lot of different gyms where a lot of different things have happened, you know what I mean? And I've seen a lot of it handled properly and a lot of it handled improperly. I don't know. I just feel like when I go to jiu-jitsu, I'm not going to jiu-jitsu for any type of social reason.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
I go there to train and I leave. Like, I don't know anybody's names. I feel bad about it, but I don't. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just there to work out, and I barely ever get to train when I think I've had 5 matches this year and I've trained twice. So it's like, it's just one of those things I don't have a lot of time for,
Yeah.
and jiu-jitsu drama is just, it's exhausting.
Yeah.
And I've been part of a lot of it, and I
believe
apologize
it.
for that. But I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, you can't seem to escape it.
Yeah. How old were you when you started jiu-jitsu?
When I started jiu-jitsu, well, that's kind of hard to say. I started judo when I was 3.
Oh, wow.
And then I did that till I was 19, and then and wrestling, and then I started jiu-jitsu when I was 24.
Oh wow. Okay, so that makes
And I'm
sense. It was
old
a
as fuck
natural.
now.
It was a natural
I'm almost
progression.
44 now. Yeah.
And you were competing too, right? For a while.
I mean, I competed past 3 shows, not well, but I only compete now. Like if someone needs a match and I can't find someone local, I'll go get my ass whooped. But like I don't train at all. I don't work out. I don't have any time.
Yeah,
so
you're just
I'm
traveling
literally
too much.
just working and traveling right now. I mean, hoping to get back into it. But yeah, I was a 10-time national judo champion. I was a high school national
awesome.
champion. I was the high school state wrestling champion. I haven't had a lot of success in jiu-jitsu competing. I've had a lot of injuries, and I've put a lot more of my energy into promoting than I have into training myself.
Right.
But I also, like, I'm at the point now, like, when I compete, I don't care at all. Like, I will literally only fight people I'm friends with. That's where I'm
sense.
at. Because I'm
Yeah.
like, my buddy needs a match.
Yeah, you're just
Like,
having fun.
I'm like the opposite of everyone else. Like, oh, that's my friend. I'm like, oh, cool. One of my friends wants to do it. I'll fight him.
And
know?
you said 3 years old. I mean, were your parents into it? How does a
My
3-year-old?
dad, my dad was ran the gym. My
Okay,
dad.
that makes sense.
My dad, I don't remember what degree in judo he was. Probably
Yeah.
10th degree before he passed away. But
Wow.
it's a family sport for us. My
Wow.
sister was an Olympic level referee. My dad was an Olympic level referee. He refereed Koga at the Worlds. That's what my family did. Some people's families go on hikes. Some people's families do soccer. My family did martial arts.
Yeah. Are your siblings still involved in it as well?
No, my sister is a huge event planner in the state of Texas, in
Oh,
Dallas,
there you go.
and she doesn't have time or the energy for it. And my 16-year-old is a blue belt and trains jiu-jitsu, but my oldest
cool.
plays college football, and my youngest plays guitar and sings.
Cool.
And then he just he does, like, I have him doing some kickboxing classes just for self-defense.
Very cool. That's awesome.
Self-defense, like Danny loves.
Jiu-jitsu's not self-defense. I know we're low on time. Anything else I should
I'm okay.
add?
How much time do we have left?
What time is it? Like 10 minutes? Okay.
All right, you got 10 minutes. Keep going.
Yara, anything she usually keeps track for me that I missed?
No, I know you said like you were one of the first people to start fights. Like especially in Philly, like we talk about all the time.
Yeah.
Remember when Seth came by and he started fighting and there was nothing else for us to
Fight to Win 31. That was the first one in Philly. You want to know how weird my brain is? You ready for this? All right, these are the Philly events. Fight to Win 31, Fight to Win 40, Fight to Win 52, Fight to Win 72, Fight to Win 108, and then COVID got everything blurry. But I remember the first ones. Philly is one of my favorite places, with Jared Weiner when he was back out there competing, and Pete Schumacher, and so many great relationships that I built in Philly, like watching you and your sister compete. And you were the first people with hijabs to ever compete on my show. Mm-hmm. And I remember being like, because I had dreadlocks in high school, so I had to wear a swim cap, and my ignorant Texas ass was like, oh, they must have braids. And people were like, no, it's like a Muslim thing or something, bro. And I was like, oh, I don't know. I was like, I want to see her dreads. Like, you know what I mean? Because they don't have a lot of that where I'm from. They don't have it in Texas and in Colorado. There's not a big Muslim community. I had no idea. So I learned what a hijab was from watching you fight.
There you go.
And, so I mean, but every place, there's special people in every single market that I look forward to seeing, in every market, Yeah, and Philly's one of the ones that kills me that I haven't been able to find a venue to get back there because I love that. I mean, that's why we brought jiu-jitsu back to the East Coast when we tried doing all those shows during COVID, and then we got shut down by the state. That was brutal.
Yeah.
It was so hard. We booked all these shows, booked all the fights, paid for the venue, paid for all the travel, have a rental house, and then boom, right before the shows, cancel. And
Yeah.
I'm just like, fuck. The East Coast, I don't know how you guys put up with the shit you guys did for so long. I believe that the East Coast was about 2 years behind Texas. The East Coast and California were 2 years behind, like, the center of the United States. And so this is like our first East Coast tour we've really had since Philly, where we're hitting Boston, Pittsburgh, Cleveland, like all those places.
How's it been going?
I mean, it's been going pretty good. This one didn't do well, but Brooklyn did really well. Boston did great. Cleveland did okay. We got Columbus next week. Then we go to Pittsburgh. And then I think we're going to hit Cincinnati and then Arlington, Virginia, which is near Washington, D.C.
Yeah, that's right by Washington, D.C.
Yeah, I know.
Right outside.
He's just telling me I have 7 minutes.
Oh, okay.
And so can you make sure the first matches are ready, please? All right, thank you. And So yeah, I mean, it's exciting to be back, and it's cool. I mean, it sucks that a lot of the top guys don't compete for me anymore just because I don't have the money to pay them, which is completely understandable. I'm not upset with anybody about it. But it is cool to see the new wave of people. There's a whole new ton of blue belts and purple. I'm seeing some cool shit, especially some kids. There's some murderous kids out there.
Absolutely.
You know, some of these markets, especially like Orlando, blew my mind when we were out there and in Tampa at some of the level, because I thought that all the kid talent in Florida was in Miami.
Yeah.
Man, that blew me away. And dude, did you know how many Brazilians are in Boston?
No.
Oh my God!
I would never think.
I had no idea. I thought my whole card was going to be like McClanahan and O'Callahan.
Yeah.
I get out there and it was like Hugo Marquez has his whole 617 team out there. Hobson Mau has all of the it was literally like the entire card was full of savage Brazilians.
Insane.
I told Flo, I called Flo Grappling and I was like, y'all need to do a show in Boston. I was like, Boston is no joke. I was like, dude, I'm telling you, the level of jiu-jitsu in Boston is next. It's out there. It's really, there's some surprising markets lately that I've been going to. Tampa. There's a huge amount of talent, and of course Texas is Texas, you know. But yeah, it's been cool to see like some of the upcoming people that I wouldn't have seen before.
Is this the closest you're getting to New York?
We just did Brooklyn 3 weeks ago.
Oh, you said Brooklyn. Okay.
Yeah, we just did Brooklyn.
And how was that?
It was a motherfucker.
Yeah.
Boxing Commission got involved 72 hours before the show.
That's fun.
Tried to stop the event. It was on like the 9th level, so we had to do a bunch of crazy building and stuff like that, but we had a good crowd.
Yeah.
I would never go back to that venue again just because it was garbage, but you know, it was a challenge. There's always a challenge.
Yeah.
I enjoy overcoming challenges, you know.
Yeah. All right, I know you have to go, so we'll wrap up.
About 5 minutes. Ask some more shit.
I'm getting nervous because they're all like coming over.
I know what the last song is.
I don't want. Oh, okay.
The last song is "The Black Parade" by My Chemical Romance.
Oh.
So as soon as that gets done, then I'm done.
Okay. Well, let's talk about tonight. So, what are you looking forward to? Any matches?
It's cool to see Junie fight again and Cam a lot. Tom the Blast is 11 guys on the card. That'll be pretty cool. I don't know a lot of the other guys. There's a lot of new people, a lot of new schools. So, you know, I don't really know what to expect.
Is Tom coming?
I'm sure he'll be here. Yeah.
You saw him? I will have to go say hi.
Yeah.
That's awesome. All right. Well,
Come on, you got something
I feel bad. I literally feel so anxious.
Come up with some more of those hot button things.
I want you to come up with them.
Why do I have to come up with them? It's your fucking podcast.
What did you say?
I ain't threatening to kill anybody anymore. So.
I'm gonna clip it. I'm gonna clip the words.
That's the only thing I've done.
I'm gonna clip the words.
Just clip
Killed
the words.
me.
Yeah. Just clip farm it. No, I mean.
How do you feel about drilling versus
that ecological thing? That's a good question. I actually like that question. Who fucking cares?
Whatever works
for you.
That's
Who
how I
gives
feel.
a shit?
Okay, that's how I feel.
If you want to train 100% of the time, train 100% of the time. If you want to drill whatever percent of the time, drill. Everybody's journey is completely different. There's no point in talking shit about how one guy teaches his students versus how you train your students, how this guy trains his students. Everybody's going to do it different. Go to the place that you feel comfortable with, the place that you want to go to. I don't understand why people have to feel so involved in how other people teach and what other people do. I think if Greg Saunders obviously has come up with something that's decent, do me a favor and walk right in front of that camera right there. Stand right there. That's awesome. You're caught. You're good. You do whatever you want. I'm straight. There's no weed in my bag.
Do I have to pay for that
cameo? Yeah, there's no weed in that room at all, bro. We're good. We're good. You're the man. Thank you for your service. So I don't remember what we were talking
Ecological.
about. Yeah, no, I honestly don't know anything about it. I know Greg, and I saw the thing with Big Dan, and I just don't understand why anyone cares that much to have an opinion over what other people do.
Yeah, especially in such the manner that he kind of gets his point across.
He's more than right to have his opinion.
It's just aggressive.
No, but that's Dan.
That's not Dan. I was talking about Greg.
But that's Greg, and Greg has his opinion, and people can agree with him or not agree with him. But like I said, I'm not saying his way is right or another way is wrong. I don't think it matters.
And
it's
I agree. I think delivery
it's all grappling.
Yep.
Gi doesn't matter. No gi doesn't matter. Judo doesn't matter. Wrestling doesn't matter. It's all part of the same sport. You got to do a little bit of everything if you want to get good. Anybody that can say, "Oh, that would never work," like I'm a nerd, right? Like I'm a Star Wars person.
Okay.
Whatever. Fuck you guys. And
yeah, same. I was trying to be relatable, but
what they say is they say the Sith only think in absolutes. Okay, so it's like there's no way that 100% of everything is right, and there's no way 100% of everything is wrong. It's impossible.
Yeah.
There's no way that 100% of everything Donald Trump does is right. Sorry, Gordon. There's also 100% a chance that everything that Donald Trump does is wrong. Sorry to everybody else. It's just it is how it is. There's some good in what everybody's doing and what everybody's saying, and there's some bad in everything too. Just pick what you like.
That's a good way of looking at it. Yeah, I think a lot of people just want everyone to agree 100% with them, and God forbid you have a slightly different opinion. They can't.
Well, that's
handle it.
like, have you ever been to a 10th planet?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, it's funny shit. Everyone's cool as hell. Are a lot of them high when you get there? Yeah,
Yes.
but so what? So what? Who cares? That's like
Yeah.
how they are. It's a great experience.
Yeah.
Does it mean that his system is better than everybody else or the only one that works? No.
Yeah.
Like I'm also one of those people that believes in cross training. Like
Yeah.
me and my kids started going to this gym called the Sanctuary because they got great judo there, and he wants to learn some throws.
Yeah.
So I started taking him there. He's still at Easton. Doesn't make a difference.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You should be able to cross train. You should be
I
able to
agree.
go anywhere. You should be able to compete in this tournament. You should be able to compete in that tournament. You should be able to do this super fight. You should be able to do that super fight. Do whatever works for you. Do what makes you happy. Everybody's jiu-jitsu journey shouldn't be about how to get great at jiu-jitsu. It should be about how to become a happier, more complete person. And whether it's going to the gym and lifting weights or whether it's going and choking your friends in jiu-jitsu, that's what you should do for your peace. All right, I got 2 minutes left. I know how long this
All
song
right,
is.
I was just gonna basically reiterate what you say and tell you that I've sat with now over 70 people, and I mean I obviously agree and disagree with so many of them, but
Right.
it's like I can still respect your opinion.
There's no reason to, I mean, like,
and be friendly, right?
yeah, I mean, it's just, I don't know. People are very narrow-minded in this, but I have to go. 'cause
Okay.
I now
Okay.
have 30
All right.
seconds.
Thank you, Seth.
Bye, guys.